Los Angeles Lakers, who, in a shocking turn of events, have gone from one of the worst transition defenses in the league to one of the better transition defenses in the league. And that was on full display as they took down the Denver Nuggets 123 to 100 over the weekend. Luka Doncic had his kind of breakout game with the Lakers. He finished with, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals and a block. He's got a point to prove on that defensive end after the Mavericks traded him away. I have a few questions for you guys about this game. My first question is, how much should we read into this game? Because I was with some friends, we watched the game on the weekend, and they were like, "Oh, Jokić didn't have a great game, but Doncic did," and they were like, "Why do you think that is?" And I was like, "Well, a possible reason for this might be that these two guys, they're best friends in the league, right? They love hanging out with each other. So the night before the game, they probably went out together. They went out for dinner. Their families went out for dinner, maybe, and maybe they had a few drinks afterwards, and then they had a game to play the next day, and maybe Jokic being 30-year-old and Doncic being 24-year-old is easier when you're 24 to play with a hangover than it is when you're 30 years old. So that could have possibly been a reason. So I don't know how much we can read into this. I don't know if that's really what happened, but from the outset, as I look at it, and I know a little bit about how these guys spend their time on days off, that could be one potential reason. But I wanted to talk about this game because the Lakers came in, and credit to JJ Redick, he came in with a great game plan for this game. And it's something that's so kind of obvious, but we don't really see a lot of teams doing, right? They put a forward on Nikola Jokic, and then they had their big Jackson Hayes or whoever was playing at the five, playing in kind of a weak side help position. And Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt in particular did a great job of being physical. Like Jared Vanderbilt was picking up Jokic down near full court and really just harassing him the whole way down the court and, bumping into him and whatnot. And Jokic isn't going to get those calls because he's much bigger than him. They were being super physical with him. And then every time Jokic got down low onto the block in the post, they would front him to try and deny the entry pass and have that weak side help defender almost prepared to double team him as soon as he gets the catch. There were times in that game where Jokic was being double teamed off the ball. There were times in that game where Jokic was being triple teamed off the ball. And the Lakers were perfectly happy to sag off Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook and let them shoot the three, and just really try and frustrate Nikola Jokic and not give him as much time on the ball to get it and not give him easy catches. The Lakers completely dominated in transition, as I mentioned before. I think they were 39 to 11 in fast break points. So it was a great game plan for the Lakers, right? But we know over the past few years, the Nuggets have had the Lakers number when it comes to the playoffs, and they've just got them out of here every single time. Have the Lakers figured something out, or have they shown their hand too early? Is this a game plan that you would have potentially waited to see them in the playoffs go up against, rather than showing how you want to guard them now? And now, if they do meet in the playoffs, the Nuggets have a ton of film that they're going to be able to make adjustments to, and Jokic is going to know what they're planning to do to make adjustments with.
Good question, Mo. But this Lakers team, was this the first time they've beaten Denver in what, 2-3 years, even including playoffs? I don't know what the record is, but they haven't had much success against them. So
yeah, the Nuggets have won their last 5 matchups in the regular season coming into this one.
Okay, it was the last 5, and then
in the playoffs, the Nuggets won 4-1 last year, and the year before
yeah. So they've only
so they've won one game in 2 years, and then they won
and one game in 2 years. So from a confidence standpoint, if you're the Lakers, you need to come back in that locker room, even though it's the regular season, in my opinion. Haven't beaten this team at least once during the regular season. So the guys know that this has been our nemesis the past 2 years. We can get over the hump. Now, look, the league is always about adjustments. So next time that they play here in the regular season, I believe another time, we will see what adjustments Denver makes on that. And it'll be a back and forth. But just from a psyche and a confidence standpoint, that's got to be good for them. It's good for Luka and LeBron to be able to go on the road and lead the team the way they did. They were able to play with some pace, like you said, and they also tried to make everybody else beat them because they did a pretty good job of taking Nikola Jokic away. So, again, it's one game, though, so I'm not going to put the Lakers in the championship round. But I believe it's a definite step in the direction, and it allows the coach, JJ Redick, and his players to be able to look at the film the next day and say, this is what we're capable of. Now the key is how consistent can we be in this area defensively, and how consistent can we continue to execute on the offensive end, so this becomes a pattern, and we can advance and make a deep run in the playoffs. That's what I think they're going to use that win from. It's not like, okay, they've arrived. It's still a work in progress if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, but it's an encouraging. It was an encouraging Saturday night for them, just the same.
What do you think, BJ?
Well, you like anytime you get a win, a good win on the road versus a quality team like the Denver Nuggets, I'll take it. So I'm not going to read too much into it. We've seen the formula that can possibly work against a player like Jokić. You have to double him with the big. So I don't think it was anything extraordinary that I'm looking at going wow, or or something I haven't seen before. However, I think it is a confidence booster for this Laker team, for them to know that they have the capability to put together a game plan. I think it's a confidence thing with their coaches and their players. And you can see this is one of those games that brings about camaraderie within the group, right? You make a change, you do something out of the box, and it works. And then suddenly everyone has confidence. You have confidence in the coach's game plan. You have confidence in the player's ability to execute the game plan. But here's the thing I think was important, more important for the Lakers than the Denver Nuggets. The Lakers right now, they made obviously a huge trade during the middle of the season. And now this gives them an opportunity to bring about camaraderie or confidence internally within the group in the locker room. Okay. The hardest thing that we know in sports, especially in team sports, is when you have a unified thought that's in the locker room. This type of game has the capability, has the potential, we'll see how it plays out, to bring about this group where they're locked in as one and their thoughts. And I like it. You can see right now, we can't forget this. JJ is still a first-year head coach. He's trying to integrate, a star in Luka Doncic. You have LeBron James is, well in his, 40, what is he, 41, 42 now, somewhere around there. So this is a big win for them, but I'm not going to read too much into it, because let me assure you, Jokić has a triple double and we're saying he has an off game. That's how good now we've come. Okay. Your center has a triple double and we're like, oh, they were a little off tonight. So I'm not going to read much into it. As we all know, when you are a great player, you never have two bad games. And if my best player has a bad game and a triple double, I feel pretty good about game 2 if this was a playoff series. So I'm not worried about it, but great win for the Lakers on the road. A lot of confidence they should gain from this game. However, we'll see. I want to see if Luka. Remember, guys, Luka. I think he took the game off the game before, if I remember correctly. So let's see if he's able to round into shape. Let's see what he's able to do. And the key word is consistent. How consistent can they play at this level? Is this just a one every 2 or 3 games, or one every 4 games? It's taking Luka, about 5 games now before and then we're talking about a player who's been, for the last 5 years, first team All-NBA. Okay, so clearly he's not into his rhythm. He's still adjusting, but this was a pretty good indicator where you can have a player like Luka kind of integrate himself, have a big game on the road, and LeBron plays well, and the whole team played well, actually. So it was a good win for him.
Yeah, the Lakers are 8-2 in their last 10. They're up to 4th in the West now, just 2 games behind the 2nd seed.